Hey guys, it's Mare. Today we are talking about squat variations. What are variations? How do we include them into our workout? Let's get into it. So after we complete our compound lift, which is our main lift of the day, which usually takes multiple muscles in order to complete the lift for our squat, we're going to add some variations. Now our variations can change a little bit. We could change our stance, we can change our tempo, range of motion. We're gonna go all over these and how you can add them into your workout. Maybe you get stuck in the hole or maybe you get stuck partway up, we can kind of use those variations to help with either sticking points, things that you need to work on in your squat. So let's drop our weight. So we're gonna change our stance and just to make it a little bit more challenging for us. So instead of my neutral stance that I normally do for my squat, I'm going to put my legs just slightly wider so I can really target those hips and those glutes. So as you see here, this is where my stance normally is. I'm actually going to put them out even wider. With our variations, we also don't necessarily want to go to failure like we would do with our accessories. We just want to make our lifts a little bit more challenging so it can complement our compound lift, our squats. All right, so we just did wide stance. Now we're gonna bring that stance in just a little bit. So instead of my neutral stance like I normally do, I'm gonna bring them in even closer. Kind of like I'm doing a cannonball. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. Sometimes they're called cannonball squats. We're gonna bring our feet in a little bit closer and it's really gonna target those quads. A little tip for our narrow stance too, sometimes our ankle mobility is just not quite there. What you can do is you can take a plate like this, we can put it on the floor and you can just elevate your heels just a little bit in case your ankles don't quite have that mobility when you're doing those cannonball squats. And there you go. Changing our stance is one great variation to add into your squats. Next, we're gonna focus on changing our range of motion. So we're gonna use this with our squat by adding in a box. Now there's a couple different ways you could do this. You can either put a lot heavier weight on it and have the box higher. So if we tip it up, we can make it kind of higher. So we're not quite going all the way to parallel, but we're just getting that load on our back that we're trying to get used to that heavier weight. Another way you could do it is you could do it right at parallel. It's kind of where my hip crease right here is right about my knees. That's where parallel is here. And we're really gonna focus on loading our hips up when we're doing this squat. I already dropped my weight down and we're just gonna pump these out. And that is our range of motion change for our squat. Now, let's talk about different bars that we can do. So we obviously have our regular squat bar here. This is what you would usually use for your squats, some variations, but there's other bars that we can use as well. This is a transformer bar. I'm gonna use it as an SSB today. Right here, you can change the weight. So how the weight sits on the bar will mimic any of these. So if we're looking for an SSB, which basically is still our squat, still focuses on our quads, but it just kind of gives our elbows a little bit of break from holding onto that bar. But if we change this around, it just pulls that weight forward. Same with the goblet squat, pulling that weight forward. But we're gonna do our SSB today. I really love this as an accessory. We're gonna add some weight onto here and we're really gonna pump these out. These are just complementing our compound lift of our squat. All right, so now we are going to talk about tempos. They are so good. They really help you focus on your form. Nice and slow, tempoing down and back up. But again, we're dropping the weight down from our working weight for our regular squats and really gonna focus on that form. those are spicy, but they force you to really, really focus on staying tight the entirety of the squat. They are so good to add in for your variation. We're gonna add a pause. So we're gonna squat all the way down. We're gonna do a 1-second pause while we're down in the hole and then come back up. Really focusing on our form and we're staying tight the whole time as we're pausing down in the hole. Those are spicy, but we love them. They're such a great variation to add in. Another awesome variation change is we talk about changing our bars, but we can also add in different machines. There's a whole row right here of them. Use them, utilize them. And that's it for our variations. Remember, for our squat variations, we can change our stance, we can change our tempo and our pauses, our range of motion, and our equipment. Now, get out there, get lifting. I want to thank Fit Club for letting me come in today. Get out there, happy lifting.